Hi, so what this video is going to cover, for my third attempt, people keep walking in, super annoying, but anyway, what it's going to cover is how to do your test by yourself. So to do a test without training school, for the cheapest possible price, which usually is about £100 for both parts together, and you can do it at your own time, your own pace, and get it done. So what we're going to cover is, timestamps going to be below. What we're going to cover is people that don't have any experience, up to people that can already ride, how to practice, how to book the test, bike meets after you do that, dangerous group rides, and then weekend rallies, which are amazing, which I only just found out about recently, but they're absolutely amazing. So, starting off, people that don't ride or haven't ridden, the only way to really, or the easy way to get the experience in, is to go and do the one-day CVT for £110. So you've got that, you've got your provisional, you've already provisional line, you do the one-day CVT, and then with that, go out and buy a geared 125 and get road experience. You need the road experience. You can't really put a price on that, because the thing is, well, you can. If you ride every day to work for, say, 3 months on the geared bike, if you used to pay a training school for that, you'd be paying absolute huge amounts of money, because that's 3 months of riding every day. So straight away, you know, if you're using it as a form of transport, you're going to be saving money anyway, because you're not going to be paying for the transport in that sense, as in what you'd normally spend on other. So anyway, so do that. You need the road experience. Now, moving on to the people that already have the road experience, what you do is you get a friend. So basically, you find the bike you want online. You make sure the bike you're looking at is powerful enough for the test you're going to do. So obviously, restricted licenses require restricted bikes or lower power. Full licenses require above a certain power. So you need to make sure that if you're going for a full license, you're above, the bike you're buying is above that power to do it this way. So basically make sure you get the right bike around the license that you require. If you're going full license, like I said, you just need a bike that's powerful enough, not too powerful. Too powerful won't be an issue, it'd be powerful enough. So once you've seen the bike you want, you've looked into it, you've picked the bike you want, buy the bike. So you have the bike. And the reason you need the bike is you need the bike to do the license, and obviously to do the self-training. We're going to get to that. So then what you do is you go online and you go to Compare the Market or Money Supermarket and go to get a quote. And under the license section, it will ask you about your license details. So if it's got option for provisional, put provisional, CVT, etc. But when it comes to full license, you put have not passed yet. There is an option for, on a lot of them, have not passed yet. And then your bike will be insured for you to technically ride it. Don't jump on and ride it right now. It's not what it means, but you can technically ride it. If you're in the presence of an examiner or a trainer, as in a training school. But there is other caveats that we're going to get into, which is going to benefit you in regards to that. So you do that, you insure the bike. So the bike is there, it's locked up in your garage, ready to go. You insure the bike. Now you get a friend. If you don't have a friend, that rides motorbikes, skip forward to the bike meet section, come back to this section afterwards, and then you have a friend, hopefully at this point, who rides motorbikes. Now it's important that your friend who rides motorbikes has a full license and has a motorbike, because your friend, if he has a motorbike, who will be insured on his motorbike, and his insurance usually, and he can check, will cover him to ride other motorbikes. So he can ride insured bikes. So your bike is insured, he can ride your bike, which means he can take your bike to the test center. It also means he can take you to car parks, which we're going to cover, and practice. So we're going to get to the practice now. So obviously you've got your friend, he's got full insurance, your bike's insured. And if you go to someone like Poundland, they do like plastic cones. Buy a set of plastic cones, wherever you buy them from. Plastic cones, something that won't blow away. So plastic cups may or may not work, but something that will stay put. Go online, download the Mod 1 layout, and buy a tape measure. It's got to be at least probably about 10 foot. Buy a tape measure. And then what you do is you find a car park or a private land near you. Car park will work preferably at night. The car park if you want to avoid issues with the police, the car park really needs to be one that's closed, so closed as in gated, but you can get past the gate with the motorbike. So basically people can't just drive in. If people can drive in, there's some aspect of that, I can't remember exactly what, that the police, there's an issue with it because somebody else could be there, you could hit their car, etc, etc. So obviously you kind of want an empty car park. So like I said, if it's a gated one, it's great. And if security guards come over until you go away, go away. There's no point in annoying them. If you can be sweet with them and they can say, okay, we'll come back on certain times, whatever, great. If you can't, you need to find someone else to practice. So what you want to do is book, which we're going to get to later, book the test, and then maybe a week before the test, go down to the car park, as long as your friend's off in the evenings, do the layout, and then obviously practice the mod 1. The mod 1's very easy to pass. The mod 1's also very easy to fail. There's a couple of aspects worth really knowing about a mod 1. The first one, the most important one, shoulder check. And this is when you're practicing. This is at all times when you're practicing. Every time you go to pull the bike away, so you go to move for any reason, even if you're just moving the bike over there, even if you're not doing part of the test, just moving the bike, get in the habit of shoulder checking. I don't mean that sort of shoulder check, I mean full turn. Get in that habit, because if you miss 3 of them, you fail your mod 1. And it's not going to matter massively because it's only 15 quid, but it's just going to matter on a time aspect, because obviously you've lost time and then you've taken the time to go to the test centre that day, which is normally the daytime, so you've lost maybe a day's work. So on the practice, whenever you move the bike away, whenever you pull away for any reason and the bike starts to move, before you do so, shoulder check. It's really important. Second thing is, on the slalom, look at the last cone. So when you come into the slalom, look at the last cone and go through the cones. Do not look down at the cone in front of you, even though the spacing is actually a lot bigger than you'd expect. I mean, you can get a gold ring through there. Even though it's a lot bigger, if you look at the cones in front of you, you'll hit them. The space, you'll find it getting tighter and tighter and tighter, and you'll hit it, because you're steering towards them. And when you drive or when you ride on the road and you're looking ahead, you're not constantly looking at every single thing. You might be looking around, but you're not constantly looking at every single thing to make sure you don't hit it. You're using your peripherals as you're riding, so you don't target fixate. But with the cones, look at the last cone. This will help you massively if you look at the last cone. The second thing, or third thing, I'm not sure which, is when it comes to emergency stop, if your bike's got ABS, that's going to help you massively. If your bike doesn't have ABS, you're going to have to build up to getting used to sort of start to pull it and then pull it harder, and read up on the best ways to brake, and you're going to have to practice to get that emergency stop down. If you've got ABS and it works, you can just slam them brakes as hard as you want and that bike will not skid. But bearing in mind, if you are emergency stopping, you really want to check the surface of the car park and make sure there's not gravel across it or rubbish, whatever, because obviously otherwise, if you do skid, you're going to crash, and you don't want to do that. So that's the emergency stops. There was something else I was going to go into. Oh yeah, so one of the cheats was two things you can kind of cheat on if you really wanted to, is now you've got your own bike, you can adjust the idle. So what you can do is you can turn your idle up a little bit, pull away, close the throttle, bike comes to a stop, turn the idle up a little bit more, pull away, close the throttle, bike comes to a stop, turn the idle up a little bit more, pull away, close the throttle, bike continues to go. So now you've got to pull the clutch in to make it stop, but the bike continues to go. So okay, pull the clutch in and it stops. Now if you do that, if you just idle up, the bike will sort of, as soon as you pull away, if you pull away and then close the throttle, the idle adjusted up, the bike will just continue to go. You don't need to use the clutch, don't need to use the brakes. All you have to do is look at the last cone and go through the cones, figure eights, go around figure eights, go around figure eights. Obviously when you need to come to a stop, you need to pull the clutch in. So that's going to, that would take a bit of getting used to, but that would make all the clutch work, if you're not great at that, obviously gone, because your bike will just go. you turn the idle all the way up, it's just going to put you through the wall, so don't do that. But if you just adjust it into the point of, you know, pull away, shut the idle, and the bike just goes. Not absolutely almost wanting to stop, a little bit more than that. So it's just running. So that will do that. The second thing is, when you go, one of the parts of the test, which I believe is the swerve avoidance or the like the speed test, is quite often what they will do is they'll say ride down, stop at the curve, and wait for my signal. But sometimes they will say ride down and start when ready. Now, if you're feeling a little bit brave, you can actually ask them if you can wait while they get ready, and then you can ride down and just start straight away. Now they're either going to say yes or they're going to say no. The reason you want that second option, the way they sometimes say, which is ride down and start when ready, is what you will do is you'll ride down to the curve and you don't stop, because they said start when ready. So you just ride down to the curve, you're already going at sort of 20 miles an hour, whatever you're doing, go through the curve, accelerating gently as you go through, and then just pull out the curve and bomb it and done. Whereas if you ride up to the curve, stop, curve and stop, then what you have to do is you have to then gun it through the curve to come out, which is not something you'd normally do in real life. So yeah, it's going to make your life a lot easier if they give you that option to ride down and start when ready. But make sure you understand what they say, the difference between the two. Make sure you hear it correctly, and you ride down and start obviously when ready. So that's how you practice, obviously, for it. The pushing from box to box, people think because you pull in front ways, so you pull in towards me, like the screen's towards me, and then you have to back out. People think you have to back out in one long sweeping curve all the way around, and you don't actually have to do that. What you could do, so you're facing the box now, so I'm facing the box. What you could do is put your hand back and push the bike back, holding the steering. You can push the bike straight back. Right, so I'm pushing the bike straight back. Then what you can do is switch your hand to the front, to the steering, and you can push the bike round, all the way round in a half circle, so you're now facing away. Then what you can do is put your hand back and push the bike straight back into the box. Again, with the manual exercise, even when you're manually pushing it, every time you start to move away, look around, pretend it's a road, pretend somebody's going to run you over, look around, make sure you do that. Sorry if I say a lot, because I've not scripted this video. So that's how to do the tests, that's how to practice. Now, on regards to the theory, sorry I've missed something, in regards to the theory and so on the videos and stuff, the easiest way to do that is to download an app. Now it's really important with the apps, if you download an app, an Android app, make sure it's the paid for one. Don't use the free app. The free app will give you, say, 52 questions, and you will very quickly find, oh, getting really used to them, this is brilliant. That's because they've only given you 52 questions, and that sounds like a great thing, but there isn't 52 questions, or there isn't 52 possible questions in the test. It's like a few hundred. So they basically give you one set of the few hundred, and when you get to the test, you're going to find there's a load more that you don't know. So when you pay for the paid apps, they include the video tests in it. It will include the continuous. So what you want to do when you're using the app, you want to get a pad and a piece of paper, and you want to go through the test, the theory test, doing the questions. And what you want to do is you want to write down any you don't know. So you have to, on the apps, you have to select an answer. You can't put I don't know, obviously. So you have to select an answer. So sometimes you're guessing. Now if you think, I'm not sure about this one, write down the question number, 22. Oh, there's a reason for this, or number 5, whatever it is. Write down the question number, continue through the test. At the end, look at the ones you got wrong, and look at the ones you guessed, and then check the ones you guessed. So if you've got them wrong, if you've got ones wrong, you can actually look back at them, and then obviously you want to, so basically you want to make sure that the ones you guessed are correct. You want to get to know, I think I'm getting off the subject there, I'm getting a bit lost. You need to know, lost my train of thought, which ones are the correct answers, basically, and you can't, so yeah, I know where I was going with that. But anyway, back to that. So you do that, you do do the theory with the questions, and practice and practice and practice until your score gets better and better and better. Now, one of the cheats, not cheat per se, but one of the things that will help you in regards to that is, when possible, use picture association. I'm going to give you an example, and it's a really, really easy example. There is a question in, I think it's either the car or the bike test. You're driving into a tunnel, or you're about to drive into a tunnel. Do you turn on the lights, the radio, or the air conditioning? Now, I said to someone, this is obvious. This is the most obvious question in the world. It's obviously the lights. You know it's the lights. It wasn't the lights, it was the radio. And I was like, huh? I was like, what? What do you mean it's the radio? It's the radio, because obviously tunnels are normally lit, and they have an emergency frequency outside of long tunnels, and you turn the radio, and I think it broadcasts across all of them, as long as the radio's on. So on the test, you're going to think, lights, radio, lights, I'm not sure. So what you do for the picture association is you think of a tunnel. It doesn't matter if it's a real tunnel or not, but you think of yourself in a car, because obviously it would apply to a car, it wouldn't be a motorbike, but you think of yourself in a car in front of a big tunnel, and the radio that's there is huge, big, pink, fluffy radio, as stupid looking as it can be. And when you get to the test, the question comes up, you're at a tunnel. Straight away, as soon as you see the word tunnel, your brain's going to think pink radio, straight away radio. So if you can associate, if you can write down the ones you've got wrong and learn the questions you've got wrong, then the easiest way to learn them is to picture associate the question with the answer when possible. It's a bit difficult when it's speed limits, because what you can't do is you can't use the same picture over and over again. So 50 as an example, 50 would be a bullseye. 50 would be you can also use picture association, which would be 50 would be like not nifty, 50 maybe, or 20 would be 20, 30 would be day. So you can use pictures that will remind you of the word, but you can't use the same picture across multiple things, because your brain will get confused, multiple pictures. So you need individual pictures. So if need be, you can make a list of 50 and what you can associate the word 50 with, and a list of 30 and make pictures for the word 30, or pictures sound like 30. And do that, and do picture association for the ones you don't know, because what you're doing each time you're going through is you're learning the ones you don't know, because there's going to be many that you already know, you've seen on the road, you already know them, so you want to learn the ones you don't. Now, with the video part of the test, which is going to come on the app as well, if you've bought a good app, so the app's probably going to be £3 or £4. There's again a trick to it, which is sometimes you can see things far ahead, so you click them. But when you actually do the test, if you've been running a while, you'll find that you'll actually sometimes click them before you hit the scale. So the scale will be 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And if you hit it when they want you to hit at the 5, you'll get 5, and if you hit at the 4, you'll get 4, and if you hit at the 3, you'll get 3 points, 2 points, 1 point. But the funny thing is, if somehow magically you manage to hit 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, they would only score the highest, so they'll only give you the 5. So it doesn't matter how many times you hit it, it just matters the highest. So the reason that's relevant is what you'll find on the video practice is, if you watch it, if you see something, you can click it, wait a second, click it, wait a second, click it. Now it's really important that you wait a second. Do not double click. Do not double click. Get this in your brain, do not double click. If you double click, you've lost that whole clip. You can practice on the app. I'm pretty sure the app will fail you, as in like you'll lose that whole clip if you double click. But you can click, wait, click, wait, click. And then that will basically, if you've seen it too early, so if you've seen it before the scale, that'll hit you on maybe 4, or maybe that will hit you on 2. But if you've hit it before the scale, if you think, oh, I can see that car, I can see something in the distance, and you hit it before that scale, you don't get any of the points, because you've hit here, the scale was here. If you went click, miss 1, click, miss 1, click, or click, wait a second, click, wait a second, click, you've hit 5 and you've hit 3, and you would have hit 1. So yeah, click, wait a second, click, wait a second, click. Do not double click. Do not double click. So that should get you through the theory, because you've practiced on the app. Practice app's convenient, you can do it anywhere. Keep practicing until your score's really high on the paid app. Make sure it's the paid app. And then you've done your theory, you've booked that. That's about 75, I think, £75. You've taken that, and now you can book for the Mod 1. So you go on the government website and you type in or Google book Mod 1 and look for the government website. Don't look for any school or anything that offers to take you to the Mod 1. Look for the government website that says book your Mod 1. Give the details, pick a date that you want to do it, and obviously speak to your mate, and if he's all free the evenings before and you're free the evenings like week before, book that one. Otherwise book one in the future, but you really want a week where you can obviously practice in the evenings before it. The more practice you can get, the better for Mod 1. So yeah, book the date. One other little tip: do not, if you're in the south of London or south of England, do not under any circumstances go to Erith Test Centre. If it offers you Erith and it's the only test centre around and the next one's in like half a year's time, do not go to Erith. Pick another test centre. Erith's like the worst of the worst. So you pull out of Erith Test Centre and you've got a roundabout. It's like 5-6 exits, and you know they're going to tell you to take the 5th or the 6th. So straight away that's like, oh, which lane do I need to be in? But anyway. And then if you go there, there'll be a short guy, I think he sometimes wears glasses, and he will take you to a one-way street in Erith. 100% he'll take you to the street, unless he sees this video and stops, but he will take you to this street. He didn't take me because I went the other way, because I knew he was going to take me there. I went the other way. But anyway, he'll take you to a one-way street, and halfway down the street there's a sign. I don't know how noticeable it is, but there's a sign saying it's now become a two-way street. Now, in all my life I've never seen a street that does this, but apparently there's one in Erith. And he will take you down that road. He takes everyone down that road, and at the end he will say turn right. So most people, unless they know he's going to do that, will actually go into the right hand lane because they think they're in a one-way street, and they just fail the test. And the reason I know is I've been to Erith a few times for various different reasons, for other training, other reasons, with other people that have gone to do the Mod 1s and stuff. And you can actually sit outside his office, so the office where they do it, you can sit there and you can actually hear somewhat what's going on. And every time he walks in that office, and I already knew from somebody else that told me that he does this, but every time he walks in the office with somebody, so they got the bike gear, he's got the bike gear, they've just come back from a test, he walks in, and as he goes to shut the door, you hear, right, there's a one-way street, or there was a one-way street, and that's it. The guy's failed his test. So he does this without fail. He does it every single time. The other guy, the tall, skinny guy, he'll want you to leave a 12-foot gap. He'll want you to leave a big gap between you and the car in front. That's great, but as you know, you leave a big gap, people are going to try and cut in all the time. People are going to try and cut in. So see, Erith. So I went to Croydon. I did it myself, obviously, which is why I'm making this video. I went to Croydon. I got a guy there. I won't say his name. He's very serious looking. I didn't want to get him. I don't want to get the girl who works there or did work there, but I didn't want to get him because he's always very serious. I got with him in the Mod 1 and he didn't smile or anything, and then I said afterwards, oh, he could have smiled, but he didn't smile. So, very serious. Nice guy, but really serious. I got him, didn't want to get him, and no issues whatsoever. No catch you out games, no nothing, just great. So yeah, so obviously you've got your theory done, you've had your practice, you've got somebody to take you to the car park to practice around the cones, you've done the cone work, and then you've paid the 15 quid for part 1, you've booked the Mod 1, you've passed the Mod 1, and then obviously now you've got to do Mod 2. Again, for Mod 2, I don't know if Mod 1 requires you to have L plates, but for Mod 2, you have to have L plates. So what you do is your friend, you take the L plates you can attach to the bike afterwards, even if they're tape on, whatever. It's important you bring the L plates. You're not going to be able to take the test, I don't think, without the L plates. Your friend rides you to the test, or meets you at the test, whichever. If he's riding a big bike with L plates, it's probably better he doesn't have L plates on them, especially if he's got you on the back, because you're going to get pulled on the way to the test. So he rides to the test centre with or without you. You meet him there, or you get on the back, whatever. You put the L plates on the bike. Really important. You put the L plates on the bike. You practice the show me, tell me questions, which are really not that many, but you practice them. And then on the test, if you can avoid it, don't feel well. Even if you feel every single day of your life, Do not filter on the test. There's so many potential things that might go wrong. Do not filter on the test. So obviously just ride as you would normally ride. Try and be relaxed. One other tip, if it's your bike, which would be that you're using, if you've got a phone mount your phone on there, and if you can find an app that shows the speed limit, the current speed limit for where you are, have that, just that on the screen showing the speed limit. If you can't, you can download Waze, and then what you can do is you can leave it on, put it as you're navigating to home, and then what you can do is you cut out a black square with the corner cut out where the speed limit is, and just stick that over the screen, so the screen's not showing anything. I mean, the screen could show something. I don't think I'd have an issue with that or not. But what that would do is that would allow you on a test, that would allow you to see what speed limit it is, and obviously if it goes red, you've gone over the speed limit, or you're coming very close to the speed limits. You want to make sure you keep under the speed limit. So an app that shows the speed limit will help you greatly for that, because some of the roads can be tricky in regards to knowing exactly which it is. So you do that, you do the mod 1, you do the mod 2. I can't really help you in the mod 2. You pass it or you don't. There's no secret to that. And then obviously part 2 will cost you 75, part 1 will cost you 15. Theory will cost you, I think it's about 75. Now after you've passed, you've done it all, well done, you maybe want to go and make some friends. Again, this might be the section you've come from earlier, because you don't have any bike friends, and you look up a local bike meet. Now it's really important, even if you're going on a 125, it's really important to understand with bike meets, a lot of people there, if there's 20 people there, and they're there all the time, people come, people go all the time. So when you go there, one thing to remember, a lot of people don't seem to get, is these people don't owe you anything, right? So to turn up, if you turn up and sit in the corner and don't speak to anyone, or don't look at anyone, or this, that, the other, and people don't come up to you, don't then go home and cry and be upset and think, oh, that was a waste of time, they're so rude, they're so arrogant, this, that, the other. People stop at bike meets all the time. You know, people come, people go all the time. If you want to get a group of friends who ride motorbikes, so you want to make friends that ride motorbikes, there's 2 things you need to do. One, you need to consistently keep going, so they see you there more than once, and then they will probably talk to you, or they might talk to you. 2, there's other little tricks to get people to talk to you, which is if you go and look at people's bikes there, if you're paying attention to people's bikes, not touching them obviously, but paying attention, a lot of people whose bikes they are going to want to talk about their bikes. Some people do, so then they're going to want to talk to you, because you're looking at a bike, they want to go and they want to tell you how cool their bike is. So that's one way of obviously getting to know people. The other way, if it's a tea hut, the bike meets at a tea hut or tea stall, if you sit at the table, or if you ask to sit at the table, I say ask because sometimes you don't know if someone's actually sitting there. If it's a busy night, you know if someone's sitting there. If you just sit in someone's seat, it's a great way of annoying people, because you're just sat in their seat. So say, is it free, is it not? If they say no, it's not free, don't get offended and go and stand in the corner and cry. And again, no, that's fine, this or the other. But if you're standing around, you'll notice that sometimes people get rounds of coffees, and if you're there for a while, one easy way of getting friends, especially if you're already sitting at a table, is literally say, does anyone want coffee? Now people will very quickly warm to you. It's like being in a bar and saying, does anyone want a drink? People will very quickly warm to you if you're buying them a coffee. It's like 50p or £1 coffee, but they will warm to you quite quickly, obviously, if you're buying a drink. And once you know one person, or start talking to 1 or 2 people that are regulars there, you will end up knowing everyone. So be like, oh yeah, this is so-and-so, and they'll start introducing you. So then obviously you make friends, they're bikers, great. So that's fun. It gives you somewhere to go, no drama most of the time. The only danger with that is group rides. Group rides, you'll take, say, 5 people of that group, and they're going on a group ride, and they're going on a ride that they know really, really well. So they ride really, really quick, and you're a new rider, and you want to be cool. You want to keep up with them. So they're going to be going into a roundabout they know, or a corner they know is quite tight. You don't know the corner's tight. You're going to go in there sort of thinking it's sort of, you're doing 30, you're doing 70 into a corner designed for 30. Don't do that. Just don't do that. It's going to mess you up so quick. Stay at the back, preferably, and then we'll look at the last person. Always try and keep up with the last person, not right up with the last person, but a bit of a distance, and look at the back. Look at the person at the back in front of you. As they go around the corner, if you see them start to go around the corner and their brake lights come on, slow down, because obviously, even if you know that corner really well, they could go around the corner and there could be a traffic lights. We've had it. We had roadworks and our friend had dropped back, and our friend, he came ripping around the corner doing like 70 and had to swerve to avoid killing all of us, because obviously as soon as we went around the corner we had to stop. And so he came in so hot because he wasn't looking for the last person. And obviously the good thing is about sitting at the back, you can speed up, nobody can hit you, nobody can pull a trick and then smash into you. So obviously, if they, you know, as long as they're not riding like maniacs. If they're riding like maniacs, it's the wrong group anyway. So once you've done that, you've got a bike, you've got your bike mates. The last thing is rallies. Rallies, wow, just wow, right? There is so many good things about rallies. Sorry if this video is a bit long, but rallies are not the drama you think they are. Not that big sort of scary bikers to study out. Rallies, there's rallies everywhere. There's I think there's a motorbike group, UK Motorbike Rallies, I think I called it, on the Facebook, which is my group, which if you go on there, I might put a link if I can. There's actually a map. It's only there for the map really, and the map shows you where all the rallies in the UK are, and you can select the months, and then it'll actually show you on the months where the rallies are. And there's some really, really good ones I've been to. Obviously they're everywhere, but there's some really good ones. And the reason bike rallies, camping rallies specifically, are amazing is sometimes it'll be 3 nights, sometimes it'll be 4 nights. The Thursday to Sunday be the 3 nights. So sometimes it'll be 2 nights, sometimes it'll be 3, whatever. Sometimes it'll be more, but I think, wait, let me just think about this. Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night. So 3 nights. Sometimes it'll be 2 nights, sometimes it'll be 3 nights. So you think 3 nights for camping, you've got camping, and you've got drinking, because it's all about drinking then. Well, if you're into drinking, and it's 30 quid. You're like, sorry, what? 3 nights camping for 30 quid. And you think, okay, there's motorbikes, there's camping, 30 quid. That's, and you know, you take your own alcohol. That's brilliant. But I didn't mention the best thing. There's live music. Every night, there's live music. So you go to a campsite in the UK, you're paying 15, 20 quid just for one night. Here you're paying 30, 25 pounds to 30 quid for the whole weekend. Gates open usually at 12. It's good to check that, but they usually open at 12. They don't normally allow cars to go in. Obviously you need a tent, you need to put stuff on your bike. And you go down there. If you have to go by yourself, some of the rallies, it really doesn't matter. If you can take a couple of mates with you, it's just amazing. It's just weekend off camping, unless you absolutely hate camping, drinking, motorbikes, music every night. It's just such a great laugh. If you see people, I mean, this kind of goes obvious, but if you see people in full patch, so as in like the rocker on the top and the rocker on the bottom and the main patch, so like a MC club, yeah, don't piss them off. It really goes without saying, don't piss them off, but don't piss them off. Don't pat them on the back. Definitely don't pat them on the back, for God's sake. But yeah, they're just, you know, they don't really cause any drama. I've gone to quite a few rallies now, and they're not an issue. They're not there for drama. So yeah, just don't sort of bump into them and be super rude and this, that, the other, because it's never going to end very well. But other than them, and like, they're not actually that many that go to rallies. Like some of the small clubs will go as a small group, but they're going to do their own thing. So unless you go there specifically to pick an argument with them, it's not really going to be an issue. So yeah, rallies are amazing for the price. A great way of hanging out with mates. In regards to the tent, if you don't have a tent, Decathlon do a frame tent. It's £130. You can get the cheap one that's not a frame, it's just poles, and it's a blackout tent, and it almost looks, it's very tall, it almost looks triangular. It's a 2-person tent, not 3-person, so it kind of almost looks triangular at the base, or not triangular, but anyway, it's got a frame in it, and it's got 2 straps, and you pull the straps, 130 quid. If you don't have a huge garden to put your tent and dry your tent, and you don't want to sort of turn up at a rally, it's pouring down rain, and spend half an hour in the rain putting your tent up and half an hour putting a wet tent down, get the frame tent, not the pop-up one they do, which is a big round circle, but you get the frame tent for the £130, I think it is. It's an amazing tent. If you don't get that one, look for any tent on Decathlon that's blackout. I've got the Z 4.1. It's really good, but obviously I can only use it in really dry weather because I can't try it out. But get a blackout tent. The frame one, I recently got it. I recently changed from the other ones. You can get £50 one that you can put up with poles, but the frame one I turned up and I went pop, pop, 6 pegs done. No guide ropes, didn't bother with the guide ropes, didn't need them. And like literally it was, they say 2 second tent, it was about 20 seconds instead of like 4 minutes. So yeah, get that, and yeah, get the alcohol. And then if you see me at a rally, I mean you probably won't, but if you do see me at a rally and you've done your license this way, come and say hi. I appreciate that. Just be cool to meet some new people. And I'm trying to think, there was something else, but yeah, it's a very cheap, easy way to get your license, and you will absolutely love rallies. Oh yeah, so in regards to the rallies, some of the, I mean, there's probably a load of really good ones. There's huge ones like the Farmyard up north, Storming Castle up north. Big rallies aren't really my thing for a smaller one, but a couple of the ones that I've been to and I really recommend is On the Edge, the Isle of Wight. It's absolutely brilliant. There's one, Perverts in Leather, I'm going to go to, but that's because it's going to be nuts, but I haven't been to it yet. There's Soggy Moggy, which is a little bit up north, and then there's Gothics, which is quite nice. It's a really nice layout. It's like in a forest and there's loads of areas to park, and that was really nice, but that's a bit far for me, so I won't be going to that one again. So I'm probably going to about 4 every year now from now on. If one's coming up, so if you've seen one and it's coming up and you're umming and ahhing and there's like something else to do, it's once a year. So the really important thing, or the thing to bear in mind, is if you're going to go and sort of go and see your kid that weekend, and you see your kid every weekend, or you know you're going to, whatever it is, or you're going to go you know, I don't know, not necessarily a wedding, but if you're going to go to something that's you know, it's kind of important but not really, go to the rally, because you don't want to wait another year. Like, especially if you're only going to go to about 4 or 5 a year, because the problem is once you go to one, it's like getting toes. Once you go to one, you're going to want to go to the next one, and you're going to want to go to the next one. They get really addictive. So yeah, hopefully this has helped. Sorry for the long video, sorry for the long rant, and if I said a lot, sorry about that, because it wasn't scripted. So appreciate you watching. Thanks.